friends at Tivoli Brewing Company and the Department of Communication Arts and Sciences at MSU Denver, this is Unfiltered. And here are your hosts, Jay Schrader and Dr. Samuel J.
So I'll just lead into this 2019 recap, 2020 forecasting, planning, and what to expect for our fans by declaring that Dry January has already come off the rails, but only for privilege of sampling an extra special sour here on our host location that we'll come back to at another point.
Yeah, many thanks to the guys at Woods Boss
for
letting us kind of set up shop here and record. But Jay and I had talked this morning, and we realized that we needed to have a year-end review of all the things we've learned over 52 episodes. Can you believe we made it 52?
52. I was looking back at a couple episodes, and the memories are a little fuzzy on a few, and then there's a couple that I'm pretty sure I wasn't there for.
You're right. There were some that you missed out on.
Yeah,
but we got about 30, 40 minutes here. So I would like to say thank you for going down this journey with me.
Hey, thank you for bringing me along.
Dude, it's been fun.
Dragging me kicking and screaming.
It has been a blast.
Cheers.
Wow.
It is. Oh, dude, it has been fun. 52 weeks. This is probably the most committed I've been to anything other than my marriage, my kids, and my drinking in over 10 years. I
know.
And my job, I guess.
I knew that this sounds really narcissistic, and, self-aggrandizing.
This is a new Sam here.
No, I knew that you and I, because of our work ethic, we're going to make this work for 52 episodes.
Oh, that's easy. Yeah, but, we're fucking badass at this.
Yeah, because if we would have quit, we would have felt bad about it for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
So,
plus,
not shocked.
New things on the horizon, right? We got some, I don't know, maybe some money coming our way, maybe maybe some big interviews coming up in 2020.
Yeah, I think we've reached that point. Hopefully now we
didn't peak too early.
No, I think people wanted to see that we were going to make it a year, and we made it a year, and it tends to be working out. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there losing money on these bets.
Well, we just need to make sure that there are plenty of breweries to go to, and I think today was a shitty day.
Yeah.
Boulder Beer.
Yeah. Boulder Beer's been fucking with us for a while, though, let's face it. I mean, it's kind of... Jonathan Shikes put it best, right? Like, it was a kick in the nuts 3 or 4 months ago when they said they were going to stop distributing, and then they salvaged that, and our friends over, not friends yet, actually, the unknown, Sleeping Giant, came in and rescued the brand from distribution perspective, and then Boulder announces they're shutting down the brewery again today. So who knows? Maybe they'll find another space. Maybe there's room for us to go up there. I could see that place as a great studio for you and me with lots of existing tap lines ready to go. I mean, think of the interviews.
We live down south, though, and we work down. I mean, you work down south for the most part.
I travel to the south part of the city every day.
Every day.
I pretend to work. I don't know how else to put it.
So let's jump into this. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go kind of episode by episode, and we're going to talk about just a little bit what did we take from it. Right?
Episode by episode.
Episode by episode.
Wow.
Right?
I told you that some of these are fuzzy.
No, I know. That's okay. We can get through it for sure. All right, so we opened up last year with Nate Nicholas over at Tivoli Brewing Company, Director of Brewing Operations at
You've
Tivoli.
got the list in front of you, right? So I can put this away?
Yeah, yes. I have it right in front of me. I mean, aside from Nate being was he an All-American hurdler?
General track badass.
Yeah, for sure. What did we take from that episode? I guess the science of brewing is what really stood out.
Yeah, that was a very scientific, man, for cutting our teeth on interviewing and getting into the brewery space, doing a podcast. That was a difficult interview, let's put it that way. There was a lot of science. There was a lot of math involved.
There was Whistle Pig.
There was a lot of whiskey involved, too, which we didn't expect for the first brewery interview, but... the best thing I think back about Nate and the crew over at Tivoli is how much that place has become a second home to us over the last 52 weeks.
Yeah.
Nate, Evan, Steph, Ken, the whole crew, whether we remember their names or they remember our names or we're there for a meeting or whatever else, Tivoli has really taken good care of us over the last year. And let's face it, they're the ones that gave us the chance in the first place.
No, I mean, I think, I wasn't going to toot any of their horns, but I guess we will.
Tivoli sucks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think Ken, in terms of being a CEO, you can see why that guy's had success throughout his career at Coors, and then at Tivoli is kind of this kind of project that he wants to go out on, and being able to hire the right people, right? You know, Kyle Turner being the new director of sales, you can kind of see what he's doing around the place, and having that collaboration with Molly's that they're doing now, just that kind of foresight. So
they're sharp. Ken's good, and
and they know what they are. If that makes sense, Tivoli knows who they are.
Yeah, they're not trying to do anything they're not supposed to.
Nope, that's it.
Stay in your lane, bro.
Stay in your lane, man. You have a really, you got just a money maker with beers over the bar with that tap room. So,
for the record, Nate's out of Whistle Pig. Apparently, we called him out on it just a couple weeks ago.
He is,
and if he's not out of it, he's certainly not sharing anymore.
No, he's not. He's not. Episode 2, we saw Jason Zambrunen.
Oh yeah, over at Ratio. Good friends now with the Ratio crew.
Yeah. What'd you take from that one? Do you remember? We were still kind of nervous.
Yeah. I think the big thing about Ratio that opened my eyes is that a lot of this stuff doesn't have to happen just over beer, right? I mean, the guys at Ratio, how did they get their start, Sam? Do you remember?
Punk rock band?
Punk rock band, yeah. CU alum with literal legitimate degrees that spent years touring on the road as a punk rock band. I mean,
so Scott was in the band too?
Scott was in the band too.
Ah.
My boy Scott, yeah.
So it's just those two?
Nah, there were 3 or 4 of them. So yeah. But the other thing, I mean, right, like beer brings us all together. Yeah. But doesn't matter if you're a punk rocker. I don't know what the hell they're playing here. Outlaw country is what it is. What do they call that shit? Yeah. Is that some fish?
That's called a jam band. Jam.
Everybody likes beer, right? And it doesn't matter where you come from. But the other thing at Ratio that I like is the way they really incorporate music, live music, a lot of underground shows into their brewing. And into the brewery space. So
that was kind of our introduction to that part of town too, and you know, the Rhino district, and just realizing how much real estate is changing the brewing scene down there. Like where we are right now, Woods Boss, we're really close to Spangalang. Yeah, there's a reason why these guys are where they are. It's a little bit cheaper, and Rhino is, you know, starting to push some folks out. Ratio's still there.
Yeah, Ratio's not going anywhere either.
But, I mean, we're seeing friends kind of leave that area. Crooked Stave's leaving, and so I would assume for 2020 we're going to see a little bit more of that. Wouldn't you, from a banker's perspective?
Yeah. You know, I was just talking with Jordan before we got started, and he was touting a 20-year lease with potentially an extra 5. So, you know, if you're a sharp enough businessman to get yourself 20, 25 years on a lease in and around downtown Denver, you're in good shape. But those guys that are out there just signing 5 and 10 years with no extensions, real estate's going to be key, especially in 2020. So, sure. and buy if you can. I know that's not always plausible, but I really think if you can control the property for the indefinite future, you're in a much better position to grow your brand and keep your beer pouring.
Good too, tasty beer.
Yeah. Keep it good beer.
Episode 3, we went and saw Darren and Taylor over at Spangalang. Yeah. Now, this is one of those places, I think you and I had been there before the interview. We had been there after. We've been there after. But they're one of these breweries that continues to just pop up on the scene for some crazy fucking amazing beer every 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Those guys know exactly what they're doing, and they're really good at it.
Otherwise, they fly below radar, right?
Yeah, they really do.
You know, they've got a great name.
Spangalang.
Yeah, Spangalang.
It's a jazz term. We learned that.
That's right. We learned a little bit about jazz. But they stay off the grid mostly until you're right. Something big pops, and they drop a great beer on us every couple of months. And frankly, I have to admit, I don't get into Spangalang enough, to be totally honest.
They taught us one thing I think we took for the rest of the interviews, which is that the value that you can take and the knowledge you can take from just being on a packing line is kind of invaluable. And both 100%. Those guys being on the packing line, you know how to treat your beer, you know how to make sure that it doesn't have a lot of oxygen in there, the wrong amount of gases and stuff like that, and that was pretty impressive. They were both harking upon that.
Yeah, and we've discovered that a lot more people in the industry got their start working on the pallet jack or polishing bottles or whatever, so blows my mind.
4, we were at Grist. You
Love
got a keg out
Grist.
of it.
I did get a keg. Actually, that's
Nate's
right.
not there anymore. I don't know if Kevin is.
Grist has been through some changes.
We were at the big Grist place down Park Meadows.
We'll just say Grist was a good interview. It was an entertaining day.
Mm-hmm.
Kept me wet for a couple of weeks after that. That keg lasted long enough.
Yeah.
got me through Christmas, if I recall, because I'm starting to date myself now, but all of this actually went down before Christmas.
Yeah, we recorded a bunch before.
Yeah, and honestly, I haven't been back to Grist much recently. Again, they're going through some changes. I guess it's time for us to go back and check the temps.
I agree. Episode 5, still one of my favorites. Jay Johnson.
Jay Johnson. He made my top 5 when I was putting together the list today. Yeah.
We had a blast.
Jay Johnson was, for me, that was a great one because...
We made friends that day.
Yeah, we did make friends. Where the hell else are you going to meet a guy who owned an exterminating company and now he owns one of the best fucking whiskey distilleries in town?
Him and Debo, still two of my favorite dudes.
Yeah, and that one I do go into more than I should. Spend a lot of money
right
over there. Oh, yeah, it's easy. The bottles are good and affordable. I don't want to say cheap.
Go in there on Wednesday nights. They have a snow wow night, which is to get free pizza. Watch your snowboarding and skiing videos, your Warren Miller videos, eat some pizza, and drink some.
I think we participated in one of those.
I think we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, the boys at Denver Sports Lab are going to go back in there, I think, pretty soon.
What's number 6?
Number 6 is Aspen Brewing Company. I went up there.
Sam, tell us what you thought of Aspen Brewing Company.
Drinking the view, right? Duncan knows what he's doing. A lot of things have changed for Aspen Brewing Company over the last year.
Yeah, it's amazing what 12 months will do.
Yeah, they're now what would you call it? They're under the umbrella of Legacy Brewing. Is it Legacy? I can't even remember what the hell it is.
Legacy Brands?
Legacy Brands, something like that.
I think that's right.
But I was just there. We went up to Aspen a couple weeks ago, and it was packed.
Yeah.
Duncan said that they're selling a lot of seltzer.
Oh, go figure.
Yeah, I know. A lot of skiers want
Even
that
up
seltzer.
there in Aspen, huh?
Sure.
Was Kanye there having a seltzer?
I didn't see Kanye. I saw Mariah Carey.
Oh, she's a seltzer drinker.
She was really sweet, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'll show you a picture. Catherine
I
got a
bet
picture
she
with her.
smells like bubblegum and cupcakes, too.
She does, yeah.
I don't even know where that came
All I
from.
want for Christmas is you.
What's the... never mind. We won't get into that.
Saw Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry, too.
Orlando Bloom I'm down with. Are they married?
They're getting married. They're engaged.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Derek Jeter's officiating?
he was just there. But, Duncan Klaus, Aspen Brewing Company. It was a big stop for me. I'm a big Hunter S. Thompson fan, and he took over the spot where Flying Dog started. So Flying Dog started in Aspen, Ralph Steadman artwork, all of that stuff that you would recognize right there. I believe the same building.
And I still haven't been up there. The great thing about that one, too, in my opinion, Sam's first road trip brewery interview without me. It's not his fault. But also, I think, first on-site interview out of doors. I mean, you had
it was very
downtown
cold.
Aspen going on right there behind you, and Sam's breath was on the
cold.
video. You could see your breath on the video.
It was good. The next one, I think this made my top 10 for sure. It would have been David and Megan over at Black Shirt Brewing. We had fun.
Black Shirt was an awesome experience.
They've continued to be really good followers of the show, both of them. In fact, David texted me the other day. I got to drop off some barrels.
Oh, really?
That's the guy. That's why I need to make a run for barrels.
Yeah, we're going to start charging you mileage for that.
I know.
They were the first place that we really got the conversation. Well, there were two things in my mind. Food and beer, right? Like they really did build a brewery around a kitchen or a kitchen around a brewery, but their food is amazing. Their pizza kills it.
It's like some of the best pizza in town, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's the best garlic knots I've had in town.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, my God.
But the second thing, too, is I think it was the first time we really experienced, or at least for me, maybe Sam was tracking it better, but the critical pieces that marketing and social media really integrated into a beer and a beer brand can do for the success of the brewery. And Megan spoke a lot to that, which was awesome.
She did. And we talked, you and I, after the interview, talked a lot about David he was brand new. I think he'd been there like 6 weeks before.
Yep.
And now you're seeing what he's doing, and that dude is brilliant.
Yeah, we heard rumors over the year, too, that they were moving or shutting down or something, but Black Shirt's still there, so...
I don't think they're shutting down. They might just move locations.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Just my point is, keep buying their beer. Keep ordering their pizzas.
They were one of those kind of early, not early. They were kind of a boom brand, right? About 5-6 years ago, and they lost their way. And I don't want to say lost their way, but they've pivoted really successfully over the last 18 months and figured out who they are. So
yeah, keep going up there too. Stock shows in town. I would avoid that place like the plague for the next 5 weeks.
You won't find parking.
Yeah,
sure.
It's not the brewery. It's not the stock show people. It's just the ability to park.
Episode 8, Andy Sparhawk.
Oh, I went to school with Andy.
Yes,
yeah.
that was fun.
That was fun. That was our first home away from home interview back at the Tivoli.
True.
And,
Mark Boucher took pictures.
That's the rumor. I don't remember that. But it's possible. I don't know. And he's a good friend. He lent even more of an insight in terms of marketing, being the Brewers Association social media guy.
He's their web guy.
Web guy. Yeah, and he was great. Loved seeing him later on in the spring or was it in the fall? At GABF, dressed like a park ranger. And he was a good guy.
Good dude. The next episode was Eno Saris. Right, the baseball wizard, Eno Saris. You would know him from The Athletic. You would know him from MLB.com and .tv. Good. The thing I took from the Eno interview is we got right to it, right? Do you remember when I said, what's the place that has the best craft beer?
Yeah.
He said that Coors, the surrounding best craft beer, right? Surrounding bars. But do you remember which stadium?
From a bar perspective,
you remember which stadium you said was the best?
Definitely not Coors. I don't. Was it the
Cubs?
San Diego. Oh,
yeah.
Actually, now that you say that, I do recall that. Eno is the only guy I think we ever shipped beer to, though.
We did.
So obviously that either got expensive or the bottles broke because we never did it again.
We never tried.
Yeah.
Nobody ever asked.
That's all right. We should follow up with Eno and have him send us some beer.
I know. We got to get him out here.
Yeah.
He needs to be on the show.
That one was, I was more of a deer in headlights, but it was a good interview, especially considering we did it over the phone in Grist.
And we were already half in the bag.
Yeah. That was
If
like
not
interview
all the
number
way-
3 for the day or something.
All the way in the bag for that one. Colorado Sake was the next one.
Oh,
Billy.
Man, that one made number 6 or 7 on my list. I was working from a 5, not a 10.
Smart dude. Love talking to Billy. They've made some massive growth over the last year.
Billy's killing it. He's went from 600 square feet to 6,000 square feet. I don't know. Colorado Sake, learned a lot about legislation on that one, right? Like what it takes to open a brewery or not a brewery that's classified as a brewery but serves wine. There's a lot of bullshit technicalities on the politics and the legislation involved in that. But Billy, to his credit, stayed the course, won over his constituents, or he is a constituent.
No, he is a constituent.
He won over
his representative.
There you go. And
you're not even drinking.
I know, dude.
Banker brain.
So many brain cells dead today.
The next two we'll go over really quick. Many thanks to Matt Linscomb and Adam Robbings out in Seattle. I think that that interview with Matt at Fremont, one of the founders of Fremont Brewing Company, probably changed my view of craft beer in ways that nobody else had at that point in the interview. I think he was right at the business angle and recognized the importance of having a business plan and building a brewery from that way. And Adam Robbings, just the grit and the work ethic that Rubens Brews has really kind of capitalized on in Seattle. I mean, you're going to see it if you're out there. They're slowly making their way into our market a lot. I think I was at Sobo Liquors 3 weeks ago, so down on Broadway, South Broadway.
Yeah, Broadway, just north of Evans.
Yeah,
is that actually a good liquor store? I see the signs everywhere.
Their beer selection's pretty awesome.
All right.
They had Fremont's kind of special barley wine and imperial stout stuff that I bought a couple bottles of. And
for listeners out there, especially listeners that have siblings, Sam's trip to meet with the guys out at Rubens really is like if you had a sibling that got to go on a special trip with his grandma and grandpa and nobody else got to go, and then he lorded it over you for basically 9.5 months. That's exactly how Sam behaves about those interviews.
So if you want to fund this podcast through advertising, Jay and I can go on these trips together.
Yeah. Also, you have to be nice to my wife because apparently she's got a lot to do with this.
If any of you own a liquor store or a brewery out there, we really want to go to CBC this year in San Antonio.
Yeah.
So you don't have to buy our tickets.
Dude,
that'll be free.
I'll bring a hammock.
But yeah, we'll stay in a Super 8.
Super 5.
New Braunfels, right?
I don't even know where New Braunfels is.
It's in between Austin and San Antonio.
Oh, okay. So yeah, dropping hints there, people. Let's see if you can pick up the sniff, pick up the scent. Fun this bad boy.
Fun this bad boy. The next one of our faves, Karen Hertz.
Holidaily. Yeah.
That was fun.
That was fun. Special place in my heart. Still not sure why.
Yeah, we're figuring it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out one of these days. But gluten-free, right on the cusp of expansion when we were out there, and literally, I think a week ago, announced expansion out of state for the first time ever. So
Really?
yeah, Karen and the crew over at Holidaily, kicking ass, taking names, all in the name of gluten-free beer.
Just like that, Karen, and we've seen Karen since, right? We went out to dinner. She talked about the importance of getting good, clean lines and all of this. I mean, she's good people.
Oh no, she's been woven into the fabric of the unfiltered life.
Yeah, and
we cross paths with her
props to
constantly.
Caitlin, who is now no longer just the social media marketing person. She's now the director of marketing and advertising, I think. So that's how they're growing.
Is that a promotion, or is that just an additional duty?
Well, they're trying to hire somebody else,
Okay.
right? Like now she'll have somebody on here. So thanks to both of you for participating. The next one, shout out to Josh and Steve Skalski.
Steve Skalski.
Yep.
Josh Ayers, ex-neighbor.
Wow, that was fun. We went up there. That was Rocky's opening day. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. I still owe somebody Rockies tickets because we didn't make it down for the game. Whoops.
Sorry, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan Kenny. Oh, wow. I was just telling Jordan, the only basement at a brewery that I've been in that was creepier than the one here at Woods Boss was Steve Skalski's enormous basement, unused potential, untapped potential in the basement in where other than Georgetown, Colorado.
I know. It's crazy out there. Now there's another brewery opening up there. Did you see that across?
That's blasphemy.
I think it's over in the trailer park area.
And
on the other side of
we see
70.
Steve around town too.
Yeah, we've seen Steve a couple times. He lives here.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, just woven into the fabric of
He's
the
a
brewery
big
life.
motherfucker.
Yeah, tough to miss, frankly.
A big dude.
I wouldn't piss him off if I were you.
Matt Swift, Andy Joint, Big Grove Brewing Company. That was a CBC interview. Now, I don't know. You don't follow them the way that I do, and I have to because my dad has a partnership with them, and he does a lot of stuff at the brewery. They've become the Weldworks now of Iowa.
Okay.
They had the official beer of Ragbri,
No comment.
which is a huge bike across the state of Iowa. I think Matt knows what he's doing. Wow. Like, good for Big Grove.
Yeah.
Wow.
While you may follow them more than I do, I think I've actually consumed more of their beer over the last 12 months than you
Why?
have. Oh,
Just going
it's just
through
a
Iowa?
special thing, man. I got a guy with a connection that's bringing me the
No, you
the
don't.
toppling.
You do?
I'm-
No, you're thinking, Topping Goliath is not from Big Grove.
who am I thinking of?
Toppling Goliath is Toppling
Is Toppling Goliath.
You're thinking of
Yeah.
Pseudo Sue.
Cut this
King
shit
Sue.
out. Cut this out.
No,
Just
we gotta keep
edit
it in.
this
It's
out.
it's unfiltered. for a
Yeah,
reason.
that LaCroix is killing me.
That was a fun week because that same week we did an interview with Sam Coyle from Brandon Bills, who has made us good hats. I'm wearing one right now. If you want one, you should buy a hat.
I have 3 sitting on the dresser at home that I still got to sell. So
You're a guy that doesn't have to wear a hat.
yeah, I
You
got
got
a
a good
beautiful
shaped
head.
head. You do.
Yeah,
You
I
do.
And you keep the hair clean. It looks good.
No, you can wear the balded head and be okay.
Me and Ken Watanabe,
Oh yeah, true.
and I know that because we just watched a flick that he was in, rocking the bald head.
Nice. So Sam Coyle, shout out to you and the rest of the crew. Locavore, you weren't there for Jason and Andy. Those guys were awesome. If you're down in South Denver, Littleton area, I continue to hear this from people. I don't even bring it up. Locavore is the best brewery down there.
Oh, you should bring it up.
Breckenridge, that's Grist.
They're a half a mile from another brewery, and they're less than a mile probably from Breck. So yeah,
Talking about staying in your lane, they know who they are. They don't want to expand. That's just what they are, and they make damn good beer, those guys.
And if you're on your way there and you cannot find it, don't give up because it's just tough to spot. It's tucked away in a corner in a weird little strip mall, but it's worth the work to find it.
Apparently that sushi place, there's a new sushi place that bought the Egg and I or what have you.
Huh.
That place is awesome. I've heard 2 people this week say that that's the best sushi south of South Pearl.
I wonder if they have Colorado Sake Company on.
Oh, they might. Good question.
See
Next
how
one
it
up,
comes full circle.
Justin Grant, Darren, and the rest of the crew down at Go Patch. Wow.
I think my first real road trip interview.
That was good.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. That was like interview by committee. But that is the place that sticks out in my mind the most is they really created a culture. We talked a little bit about culture here and there, and we've talked about marketing and social media and stuff like that. But Justin and his team really set out to create a family, and I think it helps that they were already family before they got started. But man, what an operation!
In an old schoolhouse, too.
Amazing facility, blows my mind. They had a barber next door. There was some other stuff going on in that building, but they really occupied. Yeah. Hey, kids, when you grow up, did you ever think that you would see brewing tanks and kettles in your school auditorium?
But, dude, they were so grateful for us.
Oh, yeah.
Gave us shirts and bottles of beer and stickers, and that was cool.
No shit. My kid pulled out a Goat Patch sticker from however long ago, last week, and it's stuck to the side of my entertainment center now.
That's awesome.
I don't know how this shit happens at my house.
Those guys were awesome. Next up would be Mike and Greg over at Declaration.
Yeah. Declaration, rest in peace.
I mean, that was your go-to bar for a while.
Yeah, it still is. Just because of necessity and convenience. Mm-hmm. The boys over at Declaration, my son was 2 weeks old the day they opened. It's got a fond, special place in my heart, and I don't get back over there enough, but one of these days
we'll go back.
Yeah, we'll go back, hopefully very soon.
Zach Rabin, Mockery. That was like a 10 a.m. interview, and we were drinking beers.
Yeah.
But I think we learned a lot in that episode because it wasn't about mass production. It was about knowing who you are and trying to experiment and figuring stuff out. And since then, people have just talked about Mockery in multiple different interviews and how great they are.
Yeah, going out on a limb, trying something maybe you never tried before.
Yeah.
And what struck me as totally bizarre was that, unlike a lot of brewers we'd spoken to previously, they don't give a shit if they make the same beer twice. They, in fact, do not want to.
They don't want to.
Yeah.
Zach was great.
Plus, we owe Zach a huge thank you for connecting us with the old Lock & Co. boys, which we'll get to them in a bit.
We will. Chris Bell and John Cross, Call to Arms. Did that make your top 5?
I think it was number 1.
Yeah, that was the drunkest we've been
number
on the
1
show.
and number 2, because actually brings back
John's
memories.
no longer there, though.
Yeah, I heard some changes again. They're on our follow-up list, I think. I do believe I have an event scheduled there later this month that I need to check out. Beer or no beer, but that was a hell of an event. What's your favorite memory? I know what mine is from there.
I don't remember anything.
Oh, come on, man. Cease and desists, baby. The C&Ds.
Yeah, I'm talking about, And Putin riding a dolphin, and there's crazy names of
It
beers.
was slipping on ice skates, right? That was... Putin had just fallen on ice skates at a memorial hockey game in Russia, so that was worth it. Yeah, that was Call to Arms was by far top 1.
They were good. They were good. The next one was Willie. Oh, Willie Trutner over at Zuni Street.
We've been back to see Willie.
We have. My
Willie
gosh.
should have a baby.
Oh shit! Pretty soon, right?
Yeah. On the way. Not Willie personally, but
he's not
helped.
doing much.
Yeah.
I went in the other day with Dan, and Willie was not there.
He's probably home with the baby or skiing.
No, the baby's not due till
I don't know when that baby was due.
June, July. He's got a ways.
All right, never mind.
He's good, yeah. The next two were Mike Clark and Hugh Grierson. That was Sydney, Australia, and New Zealand, respectfully. I think
yet another
smart dude.
Tour that I didn't go on.
I know you didn't go on those. Hugh was fun, though. That was like a 10 a.m. beer drinking extravaganza. He had a tap room of 100 different taps that he was the only place in New Zealand you could get that beer. But I hope both of those guys are actually okay now.
Yeah, given everything that's going on in Australia,
no shit.
We'll pour a little bit out for you guys down there, and hopefully put out the fires soon. At the very least, bring a koala bear into the brewery for us. I'd also like to point out that with that trip alone, Sam's podcast radio kit box has more international miles than I do. Just like that.
And more tax write-offs, too.
Yeah, well, I'm not adding any more kids. So.
The next one was old Sam Lyle. Sam Sly. Now,
Resolute Brewing.
That dude, just watching Resolute grow and what he's doing, props to him. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's a fun guy. He's got a good podcast, but I think that mullet, that skullet that he had, Sambo. I know you listen to the podcast.
Going back to the old hat and head shaped for a hat. That guy had a hat head shaped for radio for sure.
The next one would be WeldWorks.
Yeah, that was a great trip. Hats off to our favorite CPA, Justin Wenzelman, for hooking us up. Actually, Justin popped up on my radar today, and we'll get that's not for this conversation necessarily, but it just goes to show it's not what you know, it's who you know, right? We wouldn't have got into WeldWorks if we didn't know Justin.
It's true. I got to pee really bad. You want to keep talking?
Yeah, I can. Are you going to take the mic with you, or
No,
you want
you're
to just
good.
run through the list?
No, you go. Keep going. Talk about Lock and Co. and Talnua.
I can't see the list. Oh, Lock and Co. and Talnua back to back.
You don't need my mic.
No, I don't know. I'm just trying to move shit around. So Lock and Co. I got to find my space on this list, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry. Owen Locke, Rick Talley, in a restaurant of all places that was supposed to serve Lock and Co. Aspen aged rye whiskey and didn't have any available. So what happens there? Rick Talley pulls a half-empty bottle out of his bag, and we continue to finish it right there on the spot. Great interview, great friendship. I keep talking to Owen, and I can't wait to see what those guys do. They hadn't even been around 6 months, I think, at that point on shelves. So, and then whiskey to whiskey, right? We did it twice in a row. Patrick and Megan Miller at Talnua Distillery, the only Irish pot distilled whiskey in the United States, and it's not Irish. They call it American, frankly. But man, that was a great bottle of whiskey. I bought a couple, and actually didn't ever get to keep any of them, which was a bummer. So, what do you do about that, right? The next one here is Comrade Brewing, the Commandant David Lynn, who again, man, paths cross pretty regularly in this industry and in this town. But David Lynn's a big friend now. We see him a lot.
Award winner.
An award, yeah, actually.
Best IPA in
I'd
the
like to
country.
think that probably comes on the heels of our interview. But Small Brewery of the Year, right?
Small Brewery of the Year.
Yeah.
Best IPA.
Best IPA.
There was they won another one too. There were 3 gold medals.
And generally badass brewery.
Those guys. He and Marks are fantastic. So if you can get to Comrade, get there. Gosh, John, we got to move through these.
Yeah, we're not moving fast enough.
Tamir, he called you what?
Jeff. My name is Jeff. But then the good news is I'm pretty sure I called him something else when I went back in there.
If you're on First and is it First and Cherokee?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Ish. Good place.
Yeah, Baker
Right.
neighborhood. The second best Pilsner in the city of Denver.
Who's the first one? Who's the first one?
According to Tamir, it is Ashley at
the Bierstadt.
the Bierstadt.
We'll get there. Intrepid Sojourner, which is now next stop.
Next stop.
Next stop.
Yeah, that was weird too, because that happened like a week after we were there.
That's pretty right after.
I spent more time than I care to admit polishing up on my pronunciation of the words Intrepid and Sojourner, only to have them change the name.
How now, brown cow?
Yeah, but they have awesome beer. They were the first ones, I think, that turned us on to the seltzer craze that we're now seeing in breweries.
Yeah, they're easy to make.
Yeah.
I mean that's what we learned.
And they made a damn good one.
Yeah, if they're easy to make, they're cheap to make. Why not make one?
Yeah.
Dave Bergen, Joyride. It was about 1,000 degrees that day.
Jesus, hot.
And Dave was a good guy. He was a good dude.
That's my wife's new favorite brewery because of that.
Really?
Yeah.
She actually listened to it?
No, she didn't listen to it. She was looking for a brewery in the neighborhood, and she wasn't with me. And I sent her and a couple of teacher friends up there. So, David, hopefully you guys took good care of my wife. Clearly you did, because she can't stop talking about it. And that was 3 or 4 months ago.
Dave was a contributor to our interview with Shawnee Adelson, right? I mean, Dave's on the board there with the Colorado Brewers Association and everything, or the Guild, I suppose. So
Yeah, the Brewers Guild.
many thanks to Dave. That was a good interview. He was a good bearded fella. He had a beard in the middle of fucking July, or whenever it was.
Yeah, he had a hell of a beard, too. I mean, it wasn't like pubic hair.
River North, Katie, Derek, and Matt. And there were like 17 Matts in that interview.
Yeah. If you said Matt, like 11 people would look up in the building.
Sneaky big brewery. Sneaky big distribution. Matt was growing that footprint pretty significantly. And I mean, you're not hearing anything bad about River North.
No, not at all. And I think the cool thing that I learned at that particular interview was they were relatively unknown for a long time, and they had some real estate issues, as we've already talked about.
Yeah.
But they managed to survive that and maintain the brand and keep going, which I think is awesome.
Dina and Chris at Odyssey.
Yeah, Odyssey.
So
What do you
great.
say? There's only one word that can describe that interview, and I'm not even sure I know how to pronounce that word.
Drunk?
Oh, I was going to say Blumpkin?
Yeah, Pumpkin. Yes, those two were awesome. They have a new a dark lager that's out. Too.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's it.
Chris just turned 50 last week, too.
Did he?
Shout out
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Chris.
Shout out to Chris.
Wasn't able to make the party. I think it was Thursday or Friday.
Happy birthday, Chris.
Yeah, happy birthday. Our first husband and wife brewing team.
They were so great. I really liked them. Then that same day, we went over to Fiction Beer Co.
No more twofers, ladies and
No,
gentlemen, and especially
no.
with a drive like that in between.
No, that was rough. And on a hot day. Remember how hot it was at Odyssey?
Crazy hot.
Oh, my God, we were hot. Yeah, we went with Chris and Brittany over at Fiction Beer Co. and Brock Harper jumped in and basically ran the interview for us.
Yeah, but we needed some help at that point.
He was good. Banded Oak was good.
Yeah.
That
With Dr.
I was on the wagon then. That was my month of sobriety.
Yeah.
Sober September.
Yeah. With Dr. Cox
Dr. Cox.
from Scrubs.
Yes,
Yeah.
Dr. Cox. Those guys were. That was our entourage.
Yeah,
day.
that was supposed to be Sober September. It worked for Sam. It did not work for me. But yeah, we actually had a crew for that one, which was great.
That was good.
And I think I went straight from there to the Dave Matthews concert. So.
You did. I think. Yeah, in another hot day. Let's see. New Terrain was still Sober September for me, but those guys out there.
Man,
wow, what
I've been
beautiful
back
spot.
a ton
Have
too.
you really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's so close to my in-laws, and now I think my wife butters me up to get me to go visit the in-laws by saying, "Well, we'll stop at New Terrain on the way," which is like all she's got to say. Let's
go
face
there.
it. Yeah.
Beautiful spot.
Hey Jay, do you want to go get a vasectomy? Yeah, just take me to the brewery first.
Yeah, why
Hey
not?
Jay, do you want to go to the graveyard? Yeah, just take me to the brewery first.
Sure. Kevin DeLang, Dry Dock. Kevin likes a good seltzer, correct? That was when we recorded during the Iowa State game. They ended up lasting like 18 hours because of rain delays. That was our first Iowa State Cyclone on the podcast.
It was first admitted.
You're right.
Kevin was a great interview. That was a tough one too because we had a football game trying to happen. We were in the middle of a crowded bar. But Kevin brought a special keg over to the guys over at Fresh Craft.
Yeah.
That was another on-site, off-site that we really like to, tout our partners. But the guys at Fresh Craft welcomed us with open arms.
That was awesome. I went and saw George and we went to George and Reno. I was looking at the next interview. George and Reno at Burley.
Oh, Burley.
Good.
That was
Reno was fun.
That was probably our longest courtship and scheduling an interview. Frankly,
that was
like a 10-month scheduling conflict. But that's another brewery with a great brand, tucked away in Castle Rock, as far as I'm concerned. But really, you wouldn't know it by sitting down at the bar.
Good, a good brand, good logo. They had the merchandising thing kind of figured out. Highly. The Lock and Co guys put a lot of barrels in there too. So.
I don't think I knew that.
I knew that. The next one would be, of course, Jonathan Shikes, Colorado Beer Man. He's the go-to. He's the one who broke a lot of news this last 6 months.
Yeah, he's been on top of it. And frankly, I steal anything intelligent I have to say about the beer industry from Jonathan. So.
Good dude. Dude. Love him.
Follow him on Colorado Beer Man something.
At Colorado Beer Man.
There you
Colo
go.
Beer Man.
Colo Beer Man.
Colo Beer Man.
YOLO. You only live once.
Our next interview was another writer. That was me on another trip.
Oh. See, I don't go on these.
Josh Bernstein went out to Brooklyn, New York. Met him at a bar there with my kids. He got my kids some
slushies or
some kombucha and a grilled cheese, and they were happy.
Nice.
And we sat there. He was a dad, a guy who writes the New York Times, writes for all the big publications. He's written 5 books, I think, in the last 10 years.
Where was your wife for all of this?
She was going to see the Andy Cohen show, Watch What Happens Live, with our friend Adam. Yeah. So the gestational carrier dad.
Oh, that's nice.
It was
such
nice.
a sweet relationship.
It was. It was great.
We'll
Literally
have to
took the
dedicate
train to Brooklyn,
like a
from
whole
Manhattan.
series of episodes just to that conversation. But
cut it out.
we'll come back to that altogether,
Look
frankly.
at us. Josh was still he's a huge supporter of the show. I think of all the people who have boosted our listenership, it's probably Josh more than anybody else.
Yeah.
So thank you, Josh. You're the man. I really, really appreciate it.
Listeners,
we appreciate it.
if you didn't know that Sam's a bit of an academic, I think the proliferation of writers and other intelligent folk on this podcast, that doesn't come from me, all right? I'd interview a homeless guy on the street if he was holding a Schlitz 40.
In a bag.
In a bag. I would interview him in a bag. Wait, I don't know what that means.
Ashley and Bill were our next interview over at Bierstadt. You loved it.
Man, we went down for the ho-ho-ho slapdown after the fact. Bierstadt's great beer. It's the first one I think I spilled my beer on myself in for an interview, which was,
you did.
and
David was there.
David was there David, our guest contributor. And
He was like 3 weeks into a new kid. He just looked
he looked more than hell than usual. Bierstadt's great, clean product. That's one of the few people that I've ever heard say buy my beer, drink it now, and come back for more. Right? It tastes best quick.
Seth and hold on, I missed somebody. There we go. George and Ryan at Brews Beers. You weren't there. I went up and did it. Good Belgian beers. Do they finally have the place open on Colfax?
I don't know, but I know Ryan pretty well, and I've met George, so they have a sweet operation. Nothing like building a brewery into the mailbox of a master planned community to ensure success.
Pretty good. Seth and Davin, Liquid Mechanics. I went up there. Jay couldn't make it. It was a really shitty day.
It was
snow wise
and life. I think
something like that. But those, up there in Liquid Mechanics, Lafayette, I believe, right? Lafayette, yeah. Or
I don't know. I didn't go.
Sorry, guys. It looks like the same place once you get north.
Oh, Longmont, Lafayette. Yeah. As long as you're on the west side of the highway and not the east, you're fine.
That was fun. Had a blast. The next interview, old Charlie Berger, Charlie Berger.
Denver Beer Co. was definitely in my top 5, and not because it was anything super eventful, but Charlie proved to be the everyman brewery owner.
What a good dude.
Yeah, super friendly. Biggest smile on his face from beginning to end.
He was. And he just kept pouring beers for us, too.
Yeah. I got out of there fast for a reason.
Did you?
I took a couple of 6-packs with me, but I did get out of there.
Exactly.
Yeah, and hopefully we can do a follow-up with Charlie and Patrick. That'd be great one day.
We need to. Zach Christopherson, Chain Reaction was our next interview. Kind of a hidden little gym over there. What was that? What's that neighborhood called?
I think technically that's Ruby Hill, and I was actually just there on Friday. Not the brewery, but just around the corner. And I can attest to the fact that if you don't know it's there, you're not going to find it. But you should check it out because Chain Reaction, great beer, great environment.
Big supporters of their community, too.
Yeah, very, very family and community-oriented. I think they had a chili cook-off right after we were there that Zach was trying to get us to come down to.
We never made it. Then we went to I-13 on a really dark and shitty day.
Oh, yeah.
But then it was
you know what?
Amanda and Nicole were so awesome.
Totally worth it. Totally worth it.
They sent us home with 3 or 4 crates of...
What do you call them?
Low fills.
Low fills. Sam doesn't usually learn much on these.
Wow.
But he learned what a low fill was, and I actually was the one to teach him.
And we got access to their special release Christmas beer.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Merry Christmas, Brock Harper.
On 13, interesting story there, and I'd like to go back and pull at that thread a little bit more.
Go ahead.
But we had a good time. No, I'd like to physically go back and pull.
We should.
On the thread.
Well, we have to go to Nicole never got back to us.
That's what I'm getting at. Nicole, we're supposed to be up at the
Nicole, if you're listening, we have to go up there.
Nicole Ryman.
Went to go see Ted at Meyerski's.
Yeah, that one is also in the top 5, and if anybody's counting, I'm probably at like 8, technically. But a craft skiery, right?
Cool place.
Craft skiery. Who's going to argue with a ski shop that you walk into and they offer you a beer before they even say hello?
We saw how skis were made.
Yeah,
and John Boy was there.
Jono was there, and they got a cat too.
They do have a cat. Then for the next one, I was in Chicago to go see John Carruthers at Revolution Brewing Company. Jay again could not come. I was there for a wedding, but
I didn't get invited to the wedding, which is a bummer because I'm a good time at a wedding.
You could have been my +1. I should have known. Catherine couldn't make it, so I was there. Best barrel program I've seen. Sorry, Wiley Roots. Sorry, Kyle. Best barrel program. Marty, if you're listening, I think you do. Shout out. Holy shit, that was awesome. So, and cousin Vic, who listens to this and was my stand-in for Jay, Revolution Brewing Company. Impressive. Next one would be Shawnee Adelson.
Yeah.
That was...
We
were worried about it, and then it ended up being fantastic. I think we were worried because we had like a real professional. Right?
Yeah, we were worried that she would know and be smarter know more and be smarter, and she did know, and she was smarter, but super down to earth. It's very interesting to hear from somebody firsthand that's just out there advocating for all the breweries in Colorado. Also very politically correct, which I think is huge in her role, but she really has Colorado brewers' interests at heart.
For sure. Then we went out to Living the Dream. We saw Jason. That was fun.
That was a fun one. Great little brewery over there. Been around for a while. Jason's got his son coming up in the ranks behind him, which I think is cool to see. Wife does something over there. She probably tells him what to do. That's the way it works in my house. But, man.
As it should be.
Yes, that's the word on the street anyway. Go see the guys that live in the dream. They've got a pretty good barrel program themselves, actually.
Yeah, that was impressive.
They've got a lot of space and they got a lot of barrels to fill, and you'll see Jason's beer coming down the pike for quite a while.
And we ended everything over with Anthony at Westfax Brewing Company. I guess I just finally got to go to Casa Bonita. So I was really excited.
No. You go to Casa Bonita. I'll sit at Westfax.
Westfax.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, buddy.
Was that our last interview of the year?
That was.
Wow.
We made it a year.
Yeah, we did.
Cheers, old boy.
Still married.
Still married. One of us got pregnant. We got a third kid on the way.
Man, that baby hurt, too.
It was the conception of that baby that hurt the most.
Yeah. In and out.
Hey, thanks, buddy. That was a lot of fun. It was
Cheers.
Good first year. So, everybody, thank you for listening so much. Like, really, we appreciate your patronage for this show. I know that we have a good group of people who listen to this thing every fucking week, even though it's a disaster sometimes. So thank you.
Train wreck. If you see us on the streets, don't be shy. Stop.
Like, we could literally
say
be
hello.
on the street.
Yeah. I might need help. Right? I could be looking for a place to stay that night.
Make sure we're okay.
Could have forgotten how to get to work. You never know. Also, Sam, huge proponent of the swag. If you want a pin, if you want a button, if you want a sticker, hit us up. I'll pay for the mail on that shit. If you want a hat, you gotta send us some cold hard cash.
Yeah,
and if you got any kind of interest in a beanie, let us know now, because that's next. All right.
You want to order that. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate that. Hope you enjoyed this year in review, and we'll be back next week with a new interview.
Good luck in 2020, people.
All right. Take care.